faces. How wonderful. Would you all like to join me in singing our wonderful opening song? And we have Rick to accompany us today. Presence, the Lord is in this place. I can feel His mighty power and His grace. I can feel the rush of angels' wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. Thank you, Rick. I love that song. I do see the glory on everyone's face. It's a very good thing. All the radiance. So good. Our Sunday services are being live streamed. Thank you all for joining us out there. Thank you for helping to support our Unity ministry. You may donate by going to PayPal at unitybillings@gmail.com or on our website, unityofbillings.org. And you may click the donate button. I noticed on our website we have some new additions to the site. Please go there and take a look and tell us what you think. It looks amazing. Thank you, Leslie. Appreciate you so much. Yoga with Tony. I can't say enough. Thursdays I look forward to so much. It's so great. And thank you, Tony, so much for donating your time to us. We are so grateful, very, very grateful. The weather is perfect. It's still light outside, and it is such a great refreshment. It's a physical and spiritual refreshment. Thank you again, Tony. Our potluck Sunday is the first Sunday of each month, which is today. So please join us downstairs. We have some deliciousness, and we get to spend time chatting with each other. We have busy bags in the basket in the back for any children that are with us today. I'm getting better at it, right? Yes, practice. And thank you for returning them at the end of the service. Our meditation room is available 9:30 a.m. on Sundays, Monday and Tuesday evenings from 7 to 8 p.m., and Thursdays on yoga night, 5:30 to 7. You can go in and meditate for a few minutes and then come out and do some yoga and go back in, do some more meditation. So again, as I mentioned, our Friendship Sunday potluck is today. And please join us downstairs, even if you didn't bring anything, you brought yourself, so that's perfect. Today we have the pleasure of Rev Phil here with us today in the house. And he will speak to us of divine enthusiasm. And his messages are always so wonderful and timely. And you can see our lineup for the rest of the month. Reverend Orlando Worthington will join us June 8th, June 15th, Reverend Edie Weigel, Herschel Power, June 22nd, Leslie Fisher, and then again on June 29th will be Reverend Edie Weigel. There will be no services the 4th of July weekend. And now, if you will take a deep cleansing breath and center yourselves, we will listen to the Unity Song with David Friedman to help center us even further.
Every prayer is answered, every prayer is heard, every thought every spoken word, what your soul has longed for, what your heart can feel, is already here, is already real. There is no one out there, there is no one else. You hold all the answers deep inside yourself. There's a voice that whispers, there's no you, no me, there's just one, there's just unity. One power, one presence, one light to lead the way. All loving, all knowing, that answers when you pray. When the world looks darkest and your eyes can't see, gather all your troubles, give them all to me. I am always with you, I will always be. I am one, I am unity. We are one, we are unity.
Thank you, David. I'm lighting our Christ candle, which is a symbol of the indwelling Christ within all of us today and in our service. And this is, there we go, got it. Yay! The Christ candle lives. Yay! Yes! The daily word today, June the 1st, 2025 already. Divine zeal is my impulse to accomplish great things. Will you join me in affirming? Divine zeal is my impulse to accomplish great things. Toward the end of his long life, Unity co-founder Charles Fillmore famously wrote, "I fairly sizzle with zeal and enthusiasm and spring forth with a mighty faith to do the things that ought to be done by me." I love that quote. I have that on my wall. This story shows me that as a divine gift, zeal is always mine to call upon, no matter my age or the state of my life. It is the impulse that makes me eager to rise in the morning and gives me energy to get started on the day's tasks. It drives me to give the best of myself to those people and things I care about most. Zeal is quickening, enlivening energy that helps me feel the presence of God within and bring that presence to life in a way that only I can. I sizzle with zeal. Would you all join me in saying that together? I sizzle with zeal. With passion and enthusiasm, I live, love, and serve. Let's say that all together. I sizzle with zeal. With passion and enthusiasm, I live, love, and serve. That's a great statement right there. Do not lag in zeal. Be ardent in spirit. Serve the Lord. Romans 12:11. And again, join me in affirming zeal. Divine zeal is my impulse to accomplish great things. You'll join me in affirming our Unity Foundation principle. There's only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, God, the good, omnipotent. And our Unity of Billings affirmation, through divine wisdom and grace, Unity of Billings is vibrant, healing, and inclusive. Thank you, Charlene, for that. Thank you for putting that together. That really sums it up for us here at Unity of Billings. And now, if you'll take a moment and hold your tithes, your prayers, your compliments in your lap, infuse them with your love and your energy. Are we singing first or are we praying first?
Pray
Oh.
before we sing, that might help.
Yeah, let's pray. Okay. Let's get those prayers started. Let's go. All right. If you'll join me in praying. Divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And I am grateful. Thank you, Jane and Rick.
I'm gonna read the song before I sing it today, because there's so many powerful words and songs, I think. And the composer of this is Carmen Mosier. I don't know if any of you remember her. I've never met her, but when I first came to Unity, when it was on Lewis, a lot of her songs we sang. They're very simple, you remember. I do. And she had perfect pitch. She played the piano by ear, and she also read music. And her love was music. She taught music, she taught piano, she taught children how to sing and play musical instruments. And she moved to Lee Summit in Missouri to become a Unity minister, which she did. And because of that move, it gave her many opportunities to explore her musical ability of composing, recording her music. And you can hear it today on YouTube. Is that where you found some today, Ricky? Spotify. And so anyway, I'm gonna read this. I like all of her songs that she's ever written. This one is called Work Wonders from Within. So I'm gonna read the words. Work wonders from within. That's where to look, within. There's no use looking somewhere else for power that you need to win. Work wonders from within. Be sure you look within. Just take your mind from outer fears. Don't think it's too late. Begin. In you, in me, there's power to be. In you, in me, there's power that will set us free. My course is up to me. Of course it's up to me. So I'll set my mind to use my power if wonders I want to see. So even the song David sings and the daily word and the things that we've been talking about today are all about going within, which is continually taught to us as we move forward in our lives and learn within ourselves that that's where the power is within us. The Christ light is within us and our wisdom is within us. So now we'll see about the song. It's 125, correct? He's going to play it one time through, and we'll see how that all turns out. We'll just sing joyfully. He's going to play the melody only first. Okay, ready? There's where to look within. There's no use looking somewhere else for power that you need to win. When wonders from within, we sure do look within. Just take your mind from other things, nothing's too late. With me, there's power to breathe. With me, there's power that set us free. Our force is up to me. Our force is up to me. So set my mind to these where only promise I want to see. Thank you. Thank you. Right.
That was wonderful. Thank you, dear. The prayers worked. Awesome. They always do, you know, sooner or later. Sometimes we don't know it, but they do, for sure. And thank you all for being here, for sharing your love and your light. Thank you, Charlene. Your energy, your gifts, and your talents to make this Unity of Billings the bright and vibrant source of love and light. And so it is. Today, the 1st of June, 2025, I'd like to say a quick message of appreciation and love for all of the graduates here in Billings and across this nation, this great nation, of these new students moving out into the world from their cocoons of high school. And bless them, everyone. Surround them with light and love and infusions of wisdom. And I've written in all of the cards that I've sent to the graduates that I'm connected with, is to always remember that kindness is a superpower. To be kind to yourself, be kind to each other. So, here we have Rev Phil with us today, and he will share with us his insights into divine enthusiasm. It's always a great pleasure.
You guys are so kind. You are, aren't you?
Yes, we are.
Yes, you
We
are.
are kind.
Yes, you are
It's
kind.
so good to see you. I'm so
I
glad
know.
you're here with us.
Wonderful.
I hated to miss your class yesterday. I'm
Yes,
sure it was fantastic.
we had a good time.
Wonderful.
We'll do some more of it.
Yes.
Yes,
it's
yes,
always,
yes.
Always good.
Always
I have
good.
all of my things that I've done in your class in my house on my walls. They're just great reminders.
It's a deal, isn't it?
It is a
Oh my
deal.
gosh.
Thank you so much, Bill.
Well, I have great enthusiasm for being here. Oh, you can hear me if I turn my thing on. There we go. Okay. Whoa. Hello. Okay, so if it's too much, Clayton will turn it down just a hair. What do you think? Is it just right? Is it good? Okay, we're good. 40,000 years ago, the human consciousness shifted. It was called the Great Creative Cultural Revolution. Music came about. The pentatonic scale. Suddenly there were flutes found in the caves. There are the paintings in the caves. The stalactites in the caves were used as sound means for transformation. Okay, initiation and transformation. In the last 40,000 years, music has been used to inaugurate or begin rituals, rites, and initiation celebrations throughout the world. That's the way it is. I am so thrilled. You guys had such a great bunch of music today to get us started. What a joy that is. What a joy. So I'm going to continue this just for a little bit. So we're going to tune ourselves, all right? So this little singing bowl came from Unity Village from the bookstore many, many years ago. It's the nicest bowl I have for meditation. So I'm going to invite you just to relax a little bit and let this carry you. And then when I'm done with the meditation setting us up, I'm going to play the hand drum of just a little bit for us, okay? Charles Fillmore loved music. Myrtle Fillmore loved music. Unity has loved music. There used to be an orchestra at the village and a great outdoor amphitheater, and people from all over Kansas City came out to the village to hear the Unity Orchestra play. They used to put on musicals. I'm about ready to put on silence on my telephone here so that I am not musical. All right. I love airplane mode. You know, when I'm flying somewhere, I'm enjoying being in that space. And so turning the phone off always is a delightful initiation. It really, truly is. I'm out of that space and into this space. Charles Fillmore's quote. I too love it. It's on, I think, somewhere around. Oh, I know. It's in the meditation room. There's a little beautiful glass piece that has a picture of Charles and Myrtle on it, and on the back is that quote. I fairly sizzle with zeal and enthusiasm to have the faith to do the things that ought to be done by me. Ought to be done by me. Now that's an individual statement, but it's not actually where it ends. We do our part, but we do it in concert with everyone else. 1925, unity in Billings began. What a great, this history that's on the back table is brilliant. It's totally brilliant. And I learned a lot. I thought I knew a lot, but I learned a whole bunch. So just think that here in Billings, there was a group of people that somehow encountered unity teachings. It was 1925. They didn't have a teacher here. Mary Wessel didn't come until 1930. They went and found her and brought her here. So for those first 5 years, it was what you might want to call homegrown. Okay, it was a group of people, not a large group of people, but a group of, a concert, a symphony of people who had an enthusiasm and a zeal to live a practical spiritual life. 1925. A practical spiritual life. In 1893, the first World Parliament of Religion was held in Chicago. Vivekananda, the disciple of Ramakrishna, a great teacher, came to the United States, and his address about unity and the fact that human beings are created to love and be loved, or to be loved so that they learn how to love, was the most popular of all presentations at that Parliament of World Religions. Part of it was because, many of them were from the Western world, and they had a familiar content to them for the people listening. But for many of those folks, they had never heard someone from the East speak eloquently about the unity of humanity and our world in accordance with the activity of love. The zeal and enthusiasm to be loved and loving. Charles Fillmore was flabbergasted. He was gobsmacked. We don't know. I've worked with many historians in unity to find out if anybody has any inclination to, or evidence that Charles actually met Vivekananda at the conference, Parliament. I don't know, so I can't say. I won't guess. But I do know that Charles was so taken by Vivekananda's presentation that he found out that Vivekananda had been writing but had never published. And Charles Fillmore published Vivekananda's work in the United States for the first time. The first Eastern work was published by Charles Fillmore. His mentor, Emerson, Ralph Waldo Emerson, was the #1 Western authority on Eastern religion, Bhagavad Gita, and the Upanishads in the world during his time, 100 years earlier. He didn't publish those things, but I guess they were published, they were around, but he was the interpreter of them. Interpreter. it's fascinating that Vivekananda was most known for the authorship of a commentary on one of the Upanishads. And the Upanishads are basically training manuals. There's 108 of them. 108 is a very sacred number, and someday we'll do sacred numbers here. But today, just believe me, 108 is a very sacred number, and there are 108 Upanishads. Of those, there are 12 that are primary, which most of us, Hatha Yoga that we do here, is an Upanishad. It's a practice, and there are other ones. Bhakti Yoga is one of them, which is devotional love. Devotional love. You're so agog with love for your divine that you want all your internal conversations to be with the divine. Isn't that a great thing? I mean, I talk to myself, and I'm pretty good friends with the guy I talk to, but boy, do I love it when I'm talking to the divine, when I'm having that conversation. Charles Fillmore said, don't pray formally. Talk informally with the divine within you who knows everything. Why wouldn't you do that? That's a Vivekananda teaching that Charles is relating to us years and years and years later. Because the Upanishad, the Maitri Upanishad that Vivekananda was the most, he still is the most profound commentator on, is the one called Friendship with the Divine. Maitri is the word, means friendship in Sanskrit. Not, oh my gosh, the divine that's going to punish me. Not, oh my gosh, the divine that I have to go and bribe to get good things. Not even the divine that I'm at its feet and I'm so puny and it's so great. See, those are all different aspects of the divine, and they've been used by different religions. But your best friend, my gosh, doesn't that make it intimate and possible? Intimate and possible. Can't you have more zeal and enthusiasm to have a friendship with the divine than to have to sit in court with the divine judging you? Or any of the other, what I call more limited aspects of the divine. So Charles knew darn well, Myrtle knew darn well that we are here to love. This was originally called the Billings Church of Truth. What is that truth? I mean, we can probably get in a bit of trouble when we go around saying, well, we know the truth, I wonder how that went over in Billings, but they kept the name for a long time, so apparently it was somewhat acceptable. What is the truth? Charles said it is a unity. He named it unity because that is the truth of things. It's one world. It's divine. It's one world. It's divine. It's a unity. It's divine. You are divine. Everything's divine. Everything lives in friendship with everything else on some level or another. If you ever had a friend that had to tell you some bad news about yourself, I remember when I was a young child and I was renowned for being a storyteller. And one of my friends once said, probably in my adolescent period, which is a good time to get your comeuppance once in a while, because you're a little over the board. And this friend said to me, gosh, you sure have a motor mouth. Well, that wasn't tremendously polite. You might not say it was kind, but it sure did make its point. I started paying attention to what I was saying. Okay? And that was the point, isn't it? Even more than, they may have said that to me because they thought I dominated all the conversations and nobody else got to talk much. And that's something I'm still working on. But But I must say that being called to attend to something, we should have enthusiasm for that, shouldn't we? You know, I'm not here to defend or justify myself. I'm here to learn. And I'm here to learn to love and be loved, including myself and including everyone I interact with. I have a thing that I use, which is called the 3 C's. I also have a AAA, but we'll talk about the AAA. That's some way of getting me out of the ditch when I run myself in there. But that's another talk. But let's do the 3 C's today. First, let's remember that it's all a unity and it's all about love. Being loved, being loved. Being the love for everything else. In all of our ancient wisdom traditions, the very first emanation of the divine when it comes into manifestation is love. All of them. And the type of love that is first and foremost is compassionate love. The willing to accompany all parts of the universe while it goes through its learning and growing and sometimes stumbling. Certainly creating suffering. Here's where suffering comes from, friends. Any sense of separation from the divine causes you to suffer. Pure and simple. Any sense of separation from the divine will cause you to suffer one way or another. Okay. I might suffer by being arrogant and egotistical. Right? Thinking that I'm it and that there's no divine that's greater than I am. I'm the head honcho of the whole darn world. Now, do we co-create in the world? Yes, we do. Do we control the world? No, we don't. I mean, were you in control of it being 82 degrees at 8 o'clock this morning? I wasn't. Now, I get to co-create with it my day, but I didn't control it. It's a deal, isn't it? Compassion. Compassion, the willingness to see that everything and everyone seems separate from the divine at some point. I mean, I don't think animals and trees and birds and things do. I think I was over at Robin's last night working on bylaws, and she has a new cat. And I watched that kitten bounce off the walls and get in everything and mess with the dogs. And oh my gosh, that thing was the beingness of beingness. And that cat I never saw that cat stop and say, I wonder who I am. I wonder if I'm justified or good enough to be this life. The cat was being the cat. I think being human means loving and being loved. Loving and being loved. And that means accepting the world that there is suffering in the world. Buddha said it. He said there's suffering in the world. He did his whole psychological, philosophical understanding from it. How to get past that. Okay? How to get past that. But wasn't he just the most compassionate guy? The Dalai Lama, who's he's a manifestation of Avalokiteshvara, the initial element of compassion in the world. He said, I don't care if you're a Buddhist or not, that's none of my business. He said, but I'll tell you, my religion is kindness, and that is my business. It's a deal, isn't it? So in unity with everyone that might be suffering, we hold their hand, hold their heart, tell them it'll be okay. Maybe give them some chocolate. We do whatever we can to reduce their suffering. Now that means that you're a therapeuta. A therapeuta is a term for a person who reduces another person's suffering. During the first century, Philo, the great Jewish philosopher and head of the Jewish school in Alexandria, he wrote about the communities of people who devoted their lives to reducing the suffering of others. And he called them therapeuta. And he noted that the Essenes in Palestine and the Nazarenes, there's Jesus's village, were therapeutas. So one of the things that we're up to in unity as compassionate beings, reducing other people's suffering, is that we are being therapeutic. Unity is a therapeutic movement in that way. That does not mean that we are fixing other people's boo-boos. It does mean that we are encouraging them to have a conversation with their friend, the divine, to work on their boo-boos. Okay? During one of the world wars, Charles Fillmore was asked, you must say to all your young people, you should become conscientious objectors. And he said, no, we ask them to talk to their divine, because maybe their job is to be in a foxhole next to somebody that needs their help. Okay? Okay. First C, compassion. Second C is cooperation. Friends, the tree that's out in the yard out here is cooperating with the sunshine, with the moisture, with the sap, with the weight of its leaves for, we already know it's hot this summer. It's going to make some adjustments in cooperation with its environment. We, dear friends, have been making cooperative adjustments to our environment for eons and eons and eons. One of the issues about feeling separation and being kind of ticked off about life came after the last glacial period, when forests took over the open plains and disrupted the hunting of large mammals on the plains. And for many of those cultures, they made the adjustment. But for some of them, they got ticked off at the divine and said, the divine steals, we're going to steal. We're going to raid each other. We're going to amass wealth and hoard it. And we're still 5,000, 7,000, 8,000 years later working through that one. We're still working through that one. Okay? It's a deal. But do we live in cooperation? Absolutely we do. I saw on the back table this morning that May Rowland came to speak here. Oh my gosh. One of the things about Billings that blows my mind reading the history is all of the major players in unity that came to Billings and spoke. I don't know if they came to Bozeman. Hopefully they did, with Mary Wessel there, who was a premier person in unity, but definitely they all came here. And Mary Rowland is a humdinger. She took over at Myrtle's request. She took over Silent Unity when she was 18 years old. Who is this person that at 18 years old is so mature, compassionate, cooperative, loving, that she can run Silent Unity? And she did for 50 years. She came here. My goodness. I'm amazed. I'm delighted. I'm enthusiastic with zeal for the fact that May Rowland came to Billings. Because I love May Rowland. One day there was a tornado bearing down on Unity Village. It was pretty clear it had come a long way in a straight line, and it was staying on a straight line, and Unity Village was in its sights. She took all of the associates, all of the prayer partners from Silent Unity, and they went out and stood on an open plain and turned to the tornado and said, wouldn't you really rather go around rather than come through? Try something new and different. And that tornado turned and went around Unity Village and did not hit it. That was cooperation with the tornado. The tornado had energy, and it had set a path. And all she gave to it was, have a new thought, tornado. Right? New thought. If you don't like the old one, have a new one. And she said to the tornado, you have this old thought that you're coming straight through our village, and that's, I understand that, but why don't you have a new thought and go a little bit over there and go around it? And it did. Cooperation. In unity with the world. There's no place in this world where we cannot cooperate with the environment, with others, with the dynamic of the divine present in all of life. If you have a flat tire, do you get out and kick the tire and smack the car and yell and scream because you're inconvenienced? Or can you say, all right, divine, what's about ready to happen here? We're gonna have something happen here. What's it gonna be? Surprise me. Let's have fun. Let's play a little. It's hard for us sometimes to play when we're inconvenienced, but you know what? If you can get there, you're gonna be a happier camper. You're going to be a happier camper. In all of those mystery schools and initiation rituals going back through history, all the way to the caves, know that this, once they got metal, 6,000 years ago, they could make these, but they came from stalactites. That's where they learned how to play them, was the stalactites in the caves 40,000 years ago. They were inconvenienced when they had to leave the caves and move into the urban areas for the agricultural revolution. So they learned how to do metal, and they made metal ones that tuned. They brought the stalactites, some of them from the caves, and actually set them up in their temples and then in their houses. And then they played them, and when they got the tones all figured out, then they made metal ones that would sing the tones. And, I can put one of these on my pack animal and run it all around town. It's stalactite might be a little more difficult. It's fragile. Okay? So an inconvenience becomes a transformative experience. An inconvenience, there's no inconvenience or challenge that happens in our life that is not an opportunity for us to be transformed by divine communication. Now we're going to get to my third one. This is the one that blows my mind. I have had more fun with it this week. Curiosity. Human beings are compassionate, that's love. They're cooperative, and they're teachable. We are the creature, the creation, the divine being that can learn through a lifetime. As a matter of fact, we want to learn. We have an enthusiasm and a zeal to learn. We also have the most extended preliminary educational time, our childhood, through maturity. We aren't really mature till we're about 35. Is anybody, well, the kids are in there, so they're safe. Okay. Okay. And we're plastic, that they call plasticity of the brain. If I learned something at 80 years, I'm almost 80. If I learned something at almost 80 years of age, my brain rewires to enjoy that experience, and it realigns everything else I know and learn and have experienced to serve the purpose of that truth. When I love to learn, I'm all set. Charles Fillmore, 1930, at the Unity Annual Conference, he stood up and he said, unity is a non-denominational, educational, spiritual movement based on the teachings of love and forgiveness of Jesus Christ. One of many who have taught love and forgiveness, please. Let's make sure that we understand the divine doesn't just show up in one place one time. Okay? It's an educational movement. That's the forward face of unity. Unity is the school of practical Christianity. Practical ways to love, forgive, accept, and grow. Be transformed. It's a mystery school. It's in the tradition of the mystery schools that taught people how to be spiritually transformed, how to let go of their ego limitations so that they could have their divine possibility birthed in them. That's unity. You know what Charles said to the inner group, May Rowland? Some of the other ones, Lewis Meyer came up here. He was one of the first generation unitics or just something else. Now, what Charles said to them, and I got this from James Dillard Freeman, who got it from Ernest Wilson, who was Charles's girlfriend. They hung out together, and Ernest took over Unity's leadership when Charles retired. He called it for them, he said it's Hermetic Christianity. Okay. Do you have the friendship of the divine where you can, and Hermetic means asking wise questions. Unity, humankind, is based on asking wise questions of the universe. And the universe conspires for our success, and so it answers us. Sometimes I miss the answer. Sometimes I'm just too stupid to be listening at the right time. But I have learned as I've grown older and older that the quality of my question to the divine best friend has a result. And one is that I live in peace and ease. I live simply and elegantly at peace with the divine because I trust that the divine is a lot wiser than I'm ever going to be. And the universe loves me. So it will answer my questions. And you know, sometimes I'm just a little dense about knowing what the answer is. You know, that's part of the mystery. But to keep asking, here's what I do when I'm asking a divine question to the divine. What am I supposed to do? You know, what's my schedule this year? How many trips to the West Coast am I supposed to make? I mean, that's a question that I'm actually in front of. And if I find myself being tight and anxious about it, then there's a second question I ask to the divine, which is, help me with my disbelief. Because I'm showing that I'm not believing that the divine knows what I'm supposed to do. I love it. I've used that for years and it really works. Help me with my disbelief. In other words, I know I'm just a little too small in my question, so you answer it. You answer it. One of my favorite Jesus teachings is ask and you will receive. And that's what Charles Fillmore said when he said, treat the divine as your best friend who knows everything. And why aren't you having your conversation there? Why aren't you having your conversation there? We all have things that show up for us that are challenges. I mean, human beings, you know, think about when the Ice Age came and people had to learn how to sew clothes. They did. That's when needles and awls and sewing showed up. Right? Yeah. What happens when you're a hunter-gatherer and you're out there and you go, man, them huckleberries are ready. You go to the huckleberry patch and there ain't any because something happened. Bears got there first or something, you know. So what you have to go is, okay, divine, because that's how they treated it. Okay, divine, what's my alternative? Where do you want me to go? What you got planned for me? And suddenly I go over and there's the buffalo berries and they're in bloom and they're ready and nobody's eating them. And so I eat those for a while. Did I starve? No. Did I get something changed in the menu? Yes. What happens when you go to a restaurant and you really know you're going to get that food that you always love and they've changed the menu and it's not there anymore? Well, guess what? You're going to explore the menu, guys. You're going to have a new experience eating something new. We are curious. You know what curious means? To cure. To cure means relieve the symptoms. Compassion, relieving the suffering of others. Cooperation, working together so that suffering doesn't occur. Therapeutically, curiosity, being educated in a way that cures your symptoms of ignorance or separation from the divine. That's what it means. You get it? All of it's therapeutic. All of it is based on love, that the divine loves you and is present for you and is conspiring for your success. And it meets all the things. And that's the three innate. My 10 years of study, the last 10 years of study have come down to that. These are the three innate qualities of being human. You're compassionate, you're cooperative, and you're curiously educatable. To educate means to draw the wisdom from you that lives at your deepest depths. In other words, your divine self. To educate means to draw forth the wisdom of your divine self. Compassion, cooperation, curiosity. With those three, you can go anywhere and get anywhere and do anything you want in the world. And you will probably, with zeal and enthusiasm, know that you are doing what ought to be done by me. Thank you. Okay.